Can you hear it? Welcome to Relay.
Hello. It's really quiet. Okay. Well, that gives me a good time to start. Hello, everyone. Before the before times, when the end was still starting, there were tears. The tears in the darkness, they were called, and they were cried by the great crier who was, of course, a goose. How can I tell that it was a goose that was crying in the dark before the times of darkness? Because of the goose's keening call, the honk, honk, honk of a goose. And also because that very goose tore.
This goose brain damaged.
This goose
Yes, the goose.
tore from Shiver his very heart and soul and left nothing but that portion of brain that's really very good at making puns. From Eric.
What heart? What soul?
Well, you don't have them because the
Oh,
goose
fuck.
tore them from you.
Never had them.
From
Jesus.
Eric, the goose stole 12 pounds change, which is strange because Eric is Canadian and we don't use pounds. And from
Would have
me...
been better if you flipped them, you know.
No. It's worse if I flip them. These aren't supposed to make sense.
Well, I don't use pounds anymore. I use yen.
That's true. So it wouldn't have worked that way either. From me, the goose stole time, and thus, with heart, soul, 12 pounds, and time, the universe was created, the darkness lifted, and you were all stuck with us, the Relay Station. Welcome.
Welcome.
That's
How's
sage
everybody doing?
advice.
Are you okay there, Shiver?
Yeah.
Yeah?
You made
Okay.
it through?
I feel like I broke you slightly.
How do you blink SOS?
Probably ... dash ...
Yes.
dash ...
That's when you
Hello
fell
to our
against.
threes of watchers, which is basically Eris, Nakara, and myself.
Hi.
Hello, us.
Hello.
I feel obliged to mention that you should probably adjust your headphones head strap thing, David.
Why?
I don't know.
Is it doing strange things with my hair?
Yeah. It's entertaining.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you don't have to. I just thought I'd be friendly and mention it.
Look, I'm just telling you, this is me.
Yep. So what happened this week, David? Hi, Atticus.
Hey, Hedicus.
Oh, hey.
I genuinely don't know what happened this week. It's been a blur. Like, God, what a week.
Did you take a railgun shot from an Idris?
I did not. No, that would have been much simpler. It's been a week.
It's been a week.
I don't know. How is everyone's weeks going? How's everyone doing? Shiver, you survived the tornado, the hurricane, earthquake, that's typhoon? Earthquake.
Earthquake.
How do you mix up a typhoon and an earthquake?
7.2 earthquake, where people were actually hurt, possibly dead, that you're now making a mockery of.
I know.
Yep.
Terrible person.
It's because I come from Canada. We don't have natural disasters of any kind except for the cold.
Except
I
for,
knew. And geese.
Geese. It's true.
it's
We
funny he says that. It's currently like -50 here.
have there.
It's, yeah. I mean, I guess it's not a natural disaster, but It's not far off.
It's 18 degrees Celsius today.
Screw you.
Wow.
It's meant
were
to
at-
be the coldest month of the year.
We were at, I think, minus 12 today. It wasn't too bad.
I'm envious.
All right, so I suppose we should talk about Star Citizen, shouldn't we?
Probably should. We have stuff.
It was actually a really good episode of Inside Star Citizen this week.
Yeah, yep.
The quality has substantially increased as of late. But I mean, it was particularly of note this past week.
I think we should actually take a minute to. I don't know.
It's been
I
a
don't know
while
how
since
to
we've had a
say
bad
this, but-
episode.
Well, it has been. Like, I know that in years past we've had times where we were like, okay, guys, like, can we get some content or something? Like we've had complaints in the past, and I mean, my memory doesn't extend very far to the before times, but I don't remember. I can't remember having an episode that I was like, that was not great in the last like 2 or
It's been a
3
while.
months, which is
Yeah,
excellent.
Several months, and we're getting things like, hey, here's the, like, we had that episode about the come on, sorry, my brain just took a vacation there for a moment. The system connecting all of the pieces of the ship together, the power relay system. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, he named
And,
it, didn't he, in the damn episode.
And then we had like the rivers, and we've had like a whole bunch of planetary stuff. We had the fire episodes where we got to see the fire propagation. It's like a few episodes of that. Yeah, it's been lots of great stuff lately. And we had another one this week.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's go take a look at this week's episode. Wait, that wasn't this week's episode. That was something else.
You should probably access this week's episode.
I'm gonna access this week's episode.
Excellent.
Access
Just
it.
as a while he's doing that, this episode of Relay Station is brought to you by Coca-Cola.
And fermented brandless drink.
Apparently, I drank my coffee before we even went live, but coffee,
That went fast.
it's almost as good as cocaine.
It is.
It's just missing a few letters.
And it's legal.
I mean, I've never had cocaine,
That helps.
but I have had coffee. So I feel like I am an expert.
Yeah. I mean, cocaine doesn't seem that much fun anyway, but then when you work in the medical field, you start to really understand why it's not that much fun.
So, who here likes docking?
I like docking. Wait, what?
Something, any port in
this-
a storm?
This was a freaking man, what an elegant system they built. It's so nice, and it applies to both ship
It's-
and station docking. They managed to get them both.
smooth. It's really smooth. The ship just slides right in. Like it's
You know what really surprised? So I have to say, this really impressed me because I really didn't think they were going to be able to come up with a manual option. I thought it was going to have to be automatic. And the fact that they have a manual option for both ship and station docking is, honestly, it blows my mind that they were able to make it work.
they did note, however, that it
very
is
important.
faster when you do it yourself.
Yeah, no, I know, and that's even, it's faster when you manually dock instead of auto docking. Crazy. All right. What do you
This is
think
how-
there,
this,
Shiver?
this is Eris has figured out how to shut me the fuck up by just giving me these really easy lines that I'm like, no, I'm not rising to your fucking challenge.
It works.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not
no.
gonna. I'm not gonna let you pull that off anymore.
Oh my. Also,
Are you calling
really
me a
love
wanker?
the. I mean, who doesn't?
I mean, it's nice of you to just give me the tip there, but I'm not falling for it.
So
One of the
Okay.
things I liked about this too is that somebody was like, "Hey, if you want to try this out right now," and they linked because this is actually functionally very similar to the simulator that SpaceX released, so you could go play around with Crew Dragon docking to the space station. Functionally, it's very similar. And someone's like, "Hey, you can try it out right now. Just go play,
I mean,
do their thing."
is there any doubt in your mind that CIG looked at what like the ISS does and what SpaceX are doing, like looked at
I'm
already
almost
existing...
certain they used it as a reference. They almost certainly use it as a reference. Yeah.
It's a really, really elegant solution. It's really nice to see it on the Connie. It almost makes the Connie a useful ship.
Mm-hmm.
Almost, not quite.
No, the Connie's a very useful ship. It's always been a useful ship.
This
It will
run,
continue to
this
be.
run here, takes 3-4 years to get back to that Merlin.
What?
It's if you're at the front of the ship when you engage in combat, you might be dead by the time you make it back to the Merlin in the back.
Oh, I know. It's a long ways.
What the hell, though? I mean, if you're in the front of the ship, you're either the pilot, a gunner, navigation. You're an intrinsic member of the crew, and you're
Yeah.
going to run from that ship to the Merlin or the Archimedes. Some shit has already gone down, and it's not going to
Honestly,
be the pilot or the
if you're
navigator doing that run.
If you're in that much trouble anyway, the Merlin's not going to help you. It's tiny.
It feels like they should honestly have another variant of Connie that has a larger ship back there.
Has a larger parasite ship.
Yeah. Like a parasite ship focused Connie. I feel like you could do a
But,
lot
like,
with that.
Bigger guns on it.
Or just for more
Yeah,
people.
but then you basically just make it really, really bad that it's that far to run back.
Well, not even necessarily guns, but like a parasite mining ship or like a parasite repair like there are all sorts of other the word for things that you can do in ships in the oh my god.
Yeah, I want to take that idea further, right?
Please.
And with modularity and basically Voltron of ships, the ship is basically just all it is a flying literal carrier. All these ships just plug into it, and together it can function as a normal ship, but it can also just all completely separate, apart from the essentially the spinal column of the ship. Take the Hull E almost in that effect. You've just got all these mini or whatever size ships that
Interesting.
just plug into it and it just goes whoosh.
I
The
could-
main spine would have to be completely unarmed unless there's stuff on it. That
I,
could be-
I could almost see that being like a Vanduul thing. Like, you know, the Vanduul ships that like drill into larger ships and then they jump out? Imagine like the ship that launches those being like a giant spindle with just dozens of them and they all just break off and go and like drill into a Bengal. That would be cool. What I was going to say is I'd actually like to take your idea another step further, and why not just Voltron?
That was pretty much in my I tried to avoid just saying Starship Voltron, but yeah, in essence.
So
It's pretty neat. I think that's a really cool idea. It'd be a nightmare for the tech guys to implement, and they're just sat there hoping that Chris Roberts isn't going to listen to this and go, "Oh," but
Number one improvement in this entire thing for making station docking possible. When you go into docking mode with the station, you can
Yes.
look out the docking port with your camera,
Yeah.
and all the controls become relative to the docking port. Basically makes manual docking possible is really a good way to put it, but it's such a beautiful, elegant solution to that. And I am very impressed with that. That's really cool.
one thing I was thinking the entire time watching this was I'm going to actually have to set a bind for target friendly thing now, aren't I? Because
Mhm.
normally all of my binds are target closest enemy.
I mean, you don't have to set a bind. There's already a bind. But
yeah, but like if I'm setting up my HOTAS, I have
oh
to
yeah,
set that bind of not
target
that
friendly. Yeah.
not that I have a Connie, but no, really, really elegant solution. It's nice to see it finally be done.
Mm-hmm.
One thing
Well, they
that
had to wait for the merged physics grids, which
Yeah.
they said are their first time using first feature using them is this one.
So here's a question: can they now do the larger hull series?
Yes. Well, maybe not because that wasn't what they were worried
It's-
about. It that's resizing a physics grid, not merging physics grids. So I don't know. Can they resize a physics grid? I don't know if they did it at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's kind of one of its purposes. I mean, that's what's going on with the docking right now, really. In effect,
The
is you're
extendable
taking these
docking-
2 physics grids and merging them into one.
Yeah.
Being
But-
able to change them dynamically on the fly is the next.
I guess it would have to
forward.
happen for the
The
station docking, right?
the extending
Yeah.
station dock is already
Yeah.
extending that physics grid, right? So they've got the extending physics grids,
Yeah.
which means
So
that
it's
in
already
theory-
done then. Yeah. So the hull should be ready to go.
Actually, if that would be a stupid resource drain to have, as the docking collar comes out, to have that physics grid basically being in time with it, because it's constantly redrawing, deleting, redrawing, and so on and so on and so on. So it would make a lot more sense if, engine-wise, it's already aware that docking arm is going to go out X amount of meters. Therefore, the physics grid is just going to be aware that it changes to X amount rather than X.
Yeah, I
X.
could see
It's
that
just
for sure.
But
I
well,
don't.
I'm
think,
wondering.
I
how
think
I
they'll
would
just. I think
guess.
they'll just make sure the players can't interact with it while it's in its transforming shape.
Well, can they be in it?
That's what I'm saying. Is you make sure that the players can't be in it when it's extending, and then you don't have to. Then you can just have it transition from one size physics grid to another size physics grid. You don't have to worry about it.
That seems
The way that they've done it as well is really clever, because you're on stationary ship. Your airlock is not going to move, or if it's going to move, it's only going to move a fraction, a very small amount, which is fine engine-wise. They can easily just say, the physics grid is slightly larger than the ship, which they should do anyway, just to be safe and sure. And then the actual extending arm, you just block people off from being able to go into it. Problem solved naturally, almost.
yeah. That's Hopstar. That's basically what you're saying. My only issue with that idea is that, to me, sounds like a halfway fix, and as we know, CIG don't do halfway fixes.
It depends. I mean, if you ever need to actually be inside a resizing physics grid, then yeah, it's a halfway fix. But if
Well,
you don't,
we know we need to be because of the hull series, right?
well, you could just say that no one can go into the spindle section of the hull series while it's extending. But then you'd still have to replace the physics grid of the hull without actually affecting the players inside, which is interesting.
and you know that people would find a way to be inside what, like,
Yeah, no, that's a good point. They may have actually built it so they can just be randomly resized. But regardless, I would hazard a guess that they are probably now no longer blocked technically from finishing the hull series. That's my guess.
So how many Merlins do you think you're going to see explode as they try and dock with the Connie?
203, roughly. The first week.
42. Yeah, good answer. All right, any other thoughts on docking?
The thing is, though, unless you're being a moron about it, you would never crash. If you're actually listening to I mean, you'd never like badly crash. If you're listening to the little dots on your display, like, it's not supposed to be a fast process. You're coming in very slow to dock.
I'm worried about the going up and actually latching because it looks like it hits, and
Yep.
I know I've seen stuff graze something else and just blow up,
Whoa.
right?
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. Oh, it's funny. But yeah, this is really exciting, and I mean, the other thing that this brought with it is it's also the first time they are actually spawning a ship within another ship, because once they're attached together, technically the whatever the Merlin is within the physics grid of the Connie. So
Yeah.
this is the first time we're actually spawning a ship within another ship, which will lead to that further happening with carriers and other things like that.
Shiver?
Hopstar, first of all, that's exactly what was going through my mind, and you can see in some of these videos the ship is moving, and in theory, it shouldn't be any harder to dock with a moving ship at any speed than it is with a stationary ship, because you've got all these buttons already in there, so you can match the ship's speed. You just keep going towards that dot. That's the beauty of this UI, is that it's idiot proof.
It's speed agnostic.
It's good, and yes, you should be able to dock at speed.
You just look at it right now, and you're like, I know how to fucking use that.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't need someone to explain it to you. It's like, so that dotted line's there, that dotted line's there. As I'm getting closer, here's my target box. That's where I want to be. It just makes sense, and I'd like to see something similar adapted for landing as well. But it was also much cooler if you could have it on the MFD and like it used to be back in day.
100% agree with that. That's a lot of people, as soon as they saw this, they're like, that's great. So it works for docking a ship to another ship. It works for docking a ship to a station. Can you please just use the same system to allow us to land?
I mean,
Because
I'd imagine they
landing
would.
right now is not. It's not that it's necessarily hard once you get used to it, but it's not like the most intuitive thing in the world. You got to mess with camera angles and go into third person and look around, and yeah.
Wasn't there a clip?
Yeah,
this.
I find it's stupidly exciting how much I like this, because it's engine wise, when the Merlin or Archimedes is docked up with the Constellation engine wise, that's one ship. The fact that you as a player can then jump in this ship and GTFO in a matter of moments is fucking amazing to me, because you're literally turning one object into two objects fucking off.
Mm-hmm.
Which I know it's not new or anything like that, but it's pretty cool the amount of interaction that we've been afforded to do with that, because it is quick, it's hopefully not going to be stupidly resource heavy, and it's the start of seeing these physics grids come in, which are going to they're amazing technology. Again,
this was all.
I know, but
this was yet another like base level engine rewrite from the folks in Frankfurt. Been working on this for a long time, and because it's not just docking, it's this whole resizable and joining physics grids and all these other things is really important for the game in general. And I think this is just our first little benefit that we get out of it.
You kind of think like, what would Star Citizen be if Crytek hadn't stopped paying all of their employees?
Shit the bed.
Yeah. You know,
I honestly, it's impossible to know, but it might be further along, because they might have they may have never bothered with the procedural planets.
Yeah, but would it have been as cool?
No, definitely not.
Yeah. All right.
Right now, we're looking at it. Right now, we're staring
more-
down the barrel of a game that, if once it's done, whenever that happens, will have more playable space than all other games ever made combined, probably.
Technically not like Elite or No Man's Sky, because
Maybe not.
they're
You know what I mean.
procedural generated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you would like to know more about docking, just Google hardcore docking. You'll be fine.
No comment.
No what?
No comment.
I find that hard to swallow.
Yeah, you still would. Though.
All right. Caves.
It was a bit of a mouthful.
These caves...
I love how they keep going. They're like, "Hey, this is placeholder debug art. Don't look at it."
Damn it, Eric.
It's like
that was the only thing I could think of the entire time they were showing this off was they're like, this is all debug stuff, and I'm like, ooh, Carbide.
woo.
They're like, this is all like debug assets. None of this is filing. I'm like, this looks better than final caves in most games. Like, this is
We're a lot
fine.
closer to final than debug art. It's gonna look insane when it's
This is that right there. That is fine. I consider that fine as a cave. I don't know about you guys, but you know,
These
I'd
are going to
like-
be really fun. I like that they're taking this further.
I'd like to know what kind of feedback the ships are going to get from this, because you know there's going to be people like me just see this open ravine that lead
Shiver.
down to
There's no one else like
God
you.
knows what. Yeah, there fucking is. And on site, you're not going to be able to judge. Can I just go in there full pout and see what happens? So I would like to know, have I got enough clearance on this, and if that feedback is going to be given to me, because there are people who are stupidly crazy enough to do that, because I fucking would. It's one of the big challenges, isn't it? Just go full pout, boom, navigate your way through, and hope you can make it out.
Yep.
Even in a chase or something like that, it's just super cool.
I mean, what
Oh man,
canyons in a chase? How many science fiction movies have like darting through canyons or darting through mouths of caves? Like, and they know, right? They've got. Oh,
it was great.
oh! Be still my beating heart. That was amazing.
I see crack, I see hole. I think I want to go in. Full pelt.
Full pelt. Then you back out and do it again.
Yeah. Full on thrustering.
Yeah.
This show is just innuendo city, I tell you. You're right over there,
No,
Dave.
no, I'm not. I'm never all right.
Not the first time I've explored a Wookiee hole.
Oh. I've a couple people at work have asked about my podcasts because I've talked about the space one that Eric and I used to do. They'd be like, "Oh, where is that? Can we watch it? Because I want to learn all about the Saturn program." And we did 5 or 6 episodes exploring it. Why not? I really hope that none of them ever tune into this.
They already have. Don't worry. They're like, what the hell?
It's
Oh,
just tunnel
man.
vision, man.
So
All right.
no, I've got one more thing
What?
I want to talk about in the caves because I'm not sure. Like all the caves right now are hand done, right?
No. It depends what you mean. They're not procedural, but they're procedurally placed.
But the cave systems themselves are hand created, correct?
No,
Yep.
I think
Well, they're
thought
modular,
they
but
were-
they're hand created.
yeah. They were
Um,
hand created, but now that it's placing and stuff,
So they're
probably
using-
going to be able to make it so it is procedural.
They're using almost the
Yeah.
like. I want to see them do the
They're
same
using
thing.
like the space station.
Yeah.
Using the same thing as the space station tech.
Yeah.
So they're going to be able to build these. They're going to be able to have procedurally created caves that have the different modules attached to each other, basically.
Which I want to like. It's going to be nice because even if there's a limited number of cave entrances, I think we can get away from that. If you don't know, oh, that's that's this type of cave. I know the exact layout of this cave based on the entrance, right?
Mhm.
So,
Like
No,
one
I
that's
think
completely
it's
bare, you could say, well, that's the Brazilian cave.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. One that's got a load of rocky outcrops, you could be like, that's the 70s cave.
Yeah.
what about the? No, I'm not gonna. I can't do. No, I can't do it.
And then there's that one that's just got a
Can't-
long line of rocks on one side, and you're like, I can use that as a landing strip.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's move
What?
on. Let's talk about Flora.
Was she a
Let's
Brazilian
talk-
cave, or did she have the landing strip cave?
I don't know.
Oh,
None of these look appetizing though.
so, cool bit about this is these are plants for the pyro system.
Oh, shit.
Um,
Oh.
When's Carbide Edge coming on this fucking show so we can just ruin it together?
Oh, God.
whenever they want. Yeah. So, these plants are concepted for pyro. So pyro's coming along pretty well, and they're trying to get it to a complete-ish state by the time we get server meshing up and running. They do look cool.
They do look
All
cool.
of these look cool. Honestly, the plants in Star Citizen so far are great. They're very well done. Also, the number of all throughout this episode, they're like, "Here's some props and stuff," and they're like, "Here's 1 billion of them." They're definitely getting their pipelines up and running pretty well for a lot of these things. There's a lot of plants here.
I mean, these look pretty good. They do lead me to one question though. Are we eventually going to be able to mow the lawn?
That's the Brazilian. Anyway, sorry. No,
We
I
have
can't
a
think of.
Hydroponics bay and stuff, such.
I was trying to think of a ship that might be able to, that has like blades on it that might be able to do it, but I don't think of any.
The scythe?
I don't think there's
Blade.
anything. You fly like half an inch off the ground.
Yeah.
I'm Jimmy Bathory, and it's an extreme lawn mowing.
Then complain to the devs because you're not cutting the grass.
Yeah. But I mean, back to serious mode. Something like what's that huge ship that Eris wants to stick his knob in?
Never.
Thank you. That is going to have farmland modules for it.
Yes.
Would there be any point to actually taking this native flora, cutting or whatever, and then just growing it?
Yes.
How far do you think this is going to extend? Do you think we're going to be able to make chemicals from this crap?
Well, they said
anything?
they said even on this show that like they're on the episode that there's one of them that is really desired because at all stages of its growth it follows the
Golden rule.
the golden rule at all stages of its growth, and it's a really desired plant by horticulturalists, right? So you'll be able to set your endeavors terrestrial pod
Why?
because people like growing roses.
That's why.
People spend a lot of Shiver.
A lot of money
you're-
on roses.
Shiver, you're English. The English have a thing about gardens. That's like set in lore about the British is the British and their gardens. It's literally a type of garden in House Simulator. There's American garden and English garden.
Look, there's a lot of differences between America and the English, all right? For starters, bees, right? British bees. You know what a British bee looks like. It's that black yellow thing with fucking wings. And this is a US bee. Waited 4 weeks to do that fucking joke. Thank you.
That was good.
Wow.
Oh,
I hope
I mean-
everybody out there appreciates that because that was spectacular.
it was quite good. Going back to Sirius though, I'm really excited to see more flora. I hope we start to get to see more fauna soon.
Yeah, it's
And
coming.
I'm excited to have all of these little things have value in the verse, right? Because each one of these is going to have a dollar value, and some of them look really fragile, right? So I'm sure they're going to be like, oh, this one can't survive going through quantum, just because.
Yep.
Right. But.
Yep. And this is where you do have that thing where you can just leave your Endeavor with its 4 farm pods growing beside it some sun with light that is particularly good for growing, and then fuck off with your explorer ship for a while.
Yep. The Endeavor is the best ship in the game.
Apparently, well, it's not in the game yet.
No, but it's the best ship. The Endeavor is the best ship in Star Citizen.
It's going to be great. Again, I'm not optimistic seeing it anytime soon.
No.
They're like, hey, what if we make a ship that needs every single feature that the game has to offer?
Some things I'm really excited to see though are based on how ship development has gone recently. I'm switching off that just because we're talking about the Endeavor now. But based on how ship development has gone, do you guys really think that the Endeavor's not gonna like double in size?
Oh, it's going to be just massive. Just massive. I have no idea the final size, but
And I really want to see, because there's a hangar bay on the Endeavor, and they always said the idea was that it was only a size 2 hangar bay. You could only fit like 1 Cutlass Red.
Dude,
and
two Cutlass Reds.
2 Cutlass Reds. But that's back when they thought that like landing bays would be like this size fits exactly this, and you've got a spot for 1 Cutlass, 2 Cutlasses, and now that you can just land whatever the fuck in it.
Yep.
I
mean, they're designed to be ambulance. They are specifically designed as ambulance bays, though.
Oh, I know, but to me, the Endeavor has always seemed vaguely phallic shaped, and I just want to stow like 100 Merlins in that hangar bay and just
What kind
send
of
them all at
phallus
once.
do you own, sir?
When it doesn't have anything on the spindle.
Oh, I was wondering. I'm like, you have
Your
4?
phallus?
Yes, obviously.
Anyway.
Sounds like a giant cock up.
I mean,
Oh dear lord.
yeah, okay.
This is interesting.
This is the worst show we've done in a while. I'm glad no one's watching it.
I wonder
Thank you,
why.
everybody who's watching. Oh,
This one was pretty cool from ISC. The shape charge, so you can blow through doors.
very cool. Also, you got to really want to use this thing. You got to plan carefully because you're probably blowing an airlock door, so you better be prepared to fly the ship in your spacesuit.
But that's the thing. You're going to be prepared to fly your ship in your spacesuit. If you,
Yeah.
let's say there's a bunch of monkeys partying on Nate 90 Jump. Right? They got music. They got music going. They're not paying any attention to anything. You fly over with like you and 3 or 4 people completely silent. Attach one of those to 2 or 3 of the doors. Blow them all at once. Vent all the monkeys. You've got yourself a nice, clean 890. It even cleans itself on the way out.
That's quite appealing.
I know. I thought you'd enjoy it.
But I mean, doesn't it also? I know I'm probably thinking far too into that with real life there. Sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know what came over me. I'm sorry.
You
I,
would-
I was thinking,
I mean-
wouldn't the explosion be directed inwards anyway?
The explosion would be, but then it would go. It would. Yeah.
Basically, all it has to do
What
is
would-
break the door. Once it breaks the door, it will have the desired effect. You know,
Well-
because it will push
Yeah,
out
but
the
surely-
airlock.
Surely, in that. No, I'm thinking far too much into it. Sorry.
No,
Sorry.
go.
I'm sorry. No, I'm thinking way too much into it.
All right.
I want to. but
Also-
no.
Also, this thing is really cool.
It is.
The actual mechanism, it's really neat. Also, it was mentioned this is unsurprisingly, but it is worthwhile mentioning. This is going to be used in Squadron 42.
Yeah. I imagine.
So you'll
it
be
will-
familiar with it.
I imagine it'll also be reasonably expensive to buy one.
Oh yeah.
I
But
don't.
then you'll have like Drake. You'll have not Drake, but like some shitty ass component maker making knockoffs of them that sometimes blow you up instead.
I can't imagine this being like in all stores though, right? Like this is a military device. I can't go and pick up. I can't go to the grocery store and pick up 10 pounds of C4 unless I'm in Texas.
You should ask Desmarius if he has C4 available to him at the grocery store.
All I know is there are certain
Well-
places in Texas where you can pick up ammunition while you're getting a haircut. And if you can pick up ammunition while you're getting a haircut,
Cool.
no.
All right, let's move on to our
Oh,
next
hang on,
video.
When
Oh wait,
this
sorry.
comes out, when this does come out, the market is going to explode. No, all right. So, seriously, do you think there will be alternatives to this? You might not want something that's going to be
Absolutely.
quite so destructive. You might want something that's a bit more subtle as well. Something maybe that just bores a hole in, very Catwoman-esque, so you can still sneak in and claim the scalps as your own or something.
I think there will be an alternative, like an actual alternative, but I think they're also going to be eyeing hacking as an alternative to open the door.
They've already said that.
That's true.
They talked about that
And-
one already.
Yeah,
Long
so
time ago.
I think that's your option for like I want to keep this ship completely intact so it has more sale value when I steal it. You know, that type of thing. Or like, hey, maybe I want to be able to use it without replacing the airlock door or wearing a spacesuit.
The other thing is when you blow one of these, everyone on board is going to know, right?
Well, yeah.
But also I'd imagine that taking the 890 jump option as an example, most doors like this are airlock doors. So you might blow one, but you won't necessarily vent the entire ship by blowing a door,
No.
right? Because in most
No.
places there is a second door on the other side. So by blowing that door, yes, you're getting in, but you're probably going in loud, right?
No, yeah, you're definitely going loud. Yeah.
So I think there's going to be loud and quiet options.
Yeah.
I would love.
I mean,
based on salvaging, I would love there to eventually be a way to actually like attach something to the hull and have it do like a circle in the hull. And
Yeah, they won't do that unless they get the tech down. But currently, they're not there.
so what you want is something that's going to blow a hole in this door and just leave this glorious hole for you after it's been blown.
Yeah, and then you can just march right in. Nothing stopping you.
And out.
And yeah,
And they'll never see you coming.
no. Oh my god. This is. So, speaking of coming,
Oh, dear
Dumplings. And fish rings. All of
I
those,
love all these logos we're getting. They're
the,
cool.
the fish ringers ones really remind me of oh fuck. There's some seafood logos, seafood manufacturers up here that those all remind me of. Like they're really good logos.
All these are great.
That tip top looks like Tim Hortons, by the way.
Wow. Yeah.
Do you think at this point, fish ringers are brought to you by Captain Birdseye, but he's finally been promoted to Admiral or something?
Who's Captain Birdseye?
Really? You don't have that over there?
No.
Oh.
Nope. I think that's a cross the seas thing. Weird aside about that. So
Oh no.
I've been to the UK once. I've been to Italy a bunch of times, so I've seen some of the brands there. And I've lived here for long enough to have seen like North American brands and American brands and stuff. The weirdest experience I think I've had was actually going to Iceland, which has this weird mix of European and American brands. And then
And
there's
stuff. And then there's all the stuff they make themselves.
and then there's the even weirder Icelandic stuff, and you're like, this country has the most options of anywhere on the planet.
When you said Iceland, I misunderstood because there's a supermarket chain in the UK called Iceland.
Really?
Oh. That's funny.
It's all frozen food, so Iceland.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
So-
I get it.
One of the things that I've always been impressed by is that, I mean, I guess any market is what they're going for, but they actually put a Coca-Cola bottler in Reykjavik. There's
Yeah.
only 300,000 people in that entire country. They're like, yeah, we're gonna put a bottler there.
No, Xylo, we're waiting for you to come on.
Oh man, hey Xylo.
That's why we've got an open spot for you.
Yeah. So when are you joining the
We
call?
have to stop the penis jokes now then.
No.
I mean, not really.
Yeah, there used to be 4 of us, and you stole one of us.
Because if my ass is on the line and I make a penis joke, I do not want to cock up.
We used to be professional here.
No, we didn't.
No, we never were. Wait, did we go up or down in professionalism when Jake left?
Production value went
To
up.
the side.
Expertise went sideways. I don't know. I think we're the same.
The last
Just
time
look- we just
Xylo
look
was in the
different.
Chat, I was making a... No, it wasn't Xylo. It was Jeremiah Lee. Bollocks.
Yeah.
I was making a remark about my body being like a temple, abandoned, overgrown, and forgotten about. And he never came back after that.
Oh,
We had to fire Jake.
Anyway.
He went and worked with the enemy.
the enemy. Yeah, right. Oh, that's
All
funny.
right.
Anyway,
Where were we?
moving right
That was a
along.
bit of a sidetrack. I like these logos.
Love them. All of them.
My biggest problem with these friggin' logos, and do you want to know what it is?
You want to make them?
Well, no, so I love onion rings, and I love those like really bad, cheap fish fillets, like the Captain whatever's fish.
Captain Highlander or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Those like deep fried fish fillets that are frozen, and I really want to try a mix of that fish filling and the like those fish ringers look good, and I want to eat one. I want to know what it tastes like.
Well, actually, given CIG's record, they're almost guaranteed to be at a CitizenCon. They seem to take all their in-game food brands and be like, okay, this is what we need to make for CitizenCon. All right.
Except for the one that I went to, and they didn't have enough of it.
Yeah, I know. The one in the UK was great, though. They had all sorts of cool options that were totally game branded.
You know what? Also, Xylo, why is it that Jake started doing amazing when he went for and worked for you guys? He never did amazing with us.
Yeah, we weren't paying him.
Oh, right. That's what it was.
We made him do his entire day job and then come work for us after for free.
We do it. Speaking of food,
Oh god.
I want to know what all of these are, because some of them look really good and some of them look really, really strange. But
They're great. I love food props in games.
I like this like kitchen one. They've got baguettes, which good. Is that a roast chicken with garlic? I think it is. But the most important thing about those two concepts there are the little tiny plants that they've got over the place, which have no reason to be there in a kitchen where you're like, I need this room, this plant, it's on the floor now. But still there's plants there.
Except that they're living in this totally sterile environment and they need to have living things in order to feel not like death.
Anything that gets put on the place that I put my cutting board is getting pushed off the place that I put my cutting board.
They have an enormous amount of counter space. Come on, man.
And I thought
Also,
I was putting too much thought into the explosives earlier, and there he is
Right?
criticizing live plants on a fucking table in a fucking video game that he's not going to actually fucking eat.
I am
Anyway,
criticizing kitchen space. If there's one thing I know about, it's kitchen space. And Eric, you were like, they've got plenty of kitchen space. No, they don't, because there's no such thing as enough kitchen space.
Okay. I want to point out here that they've created already dozens and dozens and dozens of props for these outposts or these I'm trying to remember the right word for them. The colonial outposts or whatever they're called. Habitats, sure. I'm very impressed by that. They have tons of things ready already to populate these areas. When they showed off the shelves and they had like tons of stuff stacked up on them and dishes and plants and things. Very cool.
Very cool. Because it's me, I have to make a complaint. It's the first thing I saw. Like, the shelves look really good, lots of dishes, completely disorganized. It's perfect. Those chairs, both sets of chairs that they showed looked like the ugliest chairs I've ever seen in my life, and I would never want to sit on one of those ever.
Fine. Then don't.
Can I just giant padded chair? No padding on chairs. Ah.
You don't want chairs with padding?
No, absolutely not.
Why?
Not like that.
Do you sit on rocks?
That looks like the 70s
You just sit on
leather
rocks.
Yeah, rocks, please. That looks like 70s leather couch. Like those, they look like dad couches.
What do you want them to look like?
Not dad couches.
Okay. I do love that one of them looks like a dead ringer for a captain's chair out of Star Trek. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Props are good. I think actually some of those lights should be put into actual production, because lighting options for houses suck. They're all incredibly boring, and we need things that are a bit more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
And then there's this Reputation app.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I mean, looks exactly like what I thought it would look like, but it looks amazing.
The only thing I have to say about it is it's got color. The rest of Mobiglass does not, and this has color, and I love it.
And I mean, to be frank, the reason for that is that the whole design of this is different. That's because the rest of Mobiglass is being changed. Right.
Yes, I like the. I hope that they stick with color in Mobiglass.
Also, I love that they actually for reputation with actual people. I love that they have their heads there, so you don't have to necessarily remember every name. You're just like, oh, it's that guy. Right.
Humans are visual. I remember people's faces way more than their names. What the hell's a name? I do find this funny though. Like, I feel like in a game as realistic as Star Citizen, like I don't know what Shiver's relationship status with me is. Like, is he on the favorable side? Is he falling? Like you don't. I find
gamify
that
some parts of it. They can't keep it completely realistic.
It was -40 since you slapped me twice after I met you.
Yeah, but has it gone up since then?
No.
Well,
Okay.
actually, unless they're tapping into like a actual system that tracks the reliability of freelance workers, like
Eh, fair
that
enough.
share information about them with other organizations and people in the verse. I could see that.
I mean, Eve had your own contacts. I don't know if it's still implemented in that way, but you could set their reputation to you to a certain level. At the time, I don't think it had any effects whatsoever, but it was something that was possible.
I really like the color. Bring some color to Mobiglass, please and thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we got that. Okay, this next one has sound, so prepare for some sound.
Sounds so good.
Okay, I'm gonna cut the sound for now. Have either of you had time to hop into the latest, babies eat time? I have not either. But
I tried to jump into. I tried to jump in today and it was over. So
yeah,
I
you
think.
probably just had to hop to a different server. It's server dependent.
oh,
So
okay.
the server you were on might have completed it. You just have to try and you have to leave and go back in until you find a
Okay.
server that hasn't completed the event. Because
I didn't
it
have enough
launched,
time to. I didn't have enough time to mess around.
Yeah, because it launched like 2 days ago. Everyone's probably still, and this is the first weekend day. Everyone's probably hopping in and completing it rather quickly. It's what size are those turrets?
They're. So that's the javelin. I can look. Like size 7, I think. They're enormous.
Are they only
'Cause they're-
7? I thought they were 10s.
They're beautiful. Okay, we've got 7, we've got 9, we've got 10. If we didn't have that 10, we'd have 7 of 9.
There's 2 size 8 turrets on the javelin, according to the website.
Okay,
So
the only
that's-
number no one guessed. Awesome.
Yeah,
They are phenomenal.
they're
So wait,
huge and amazing.
If the turrets are size 8 and they've got 4 guns on them, that means that the guns are less than size 8, right? If I remember my...
Mhm.
So those are what, like size 6
They're probably
or 7?
each.
I don't know. I really like it.
I don't know.
It sounds great. It looks great. I'm
I
hoping
think
I can...
I think the guns might be size 7 on a size 8 turret. That's my guess.
Okay.
Anyway,
I'm hoping I can hop in.
Regardless, they're absolutely enormous. And just shred things. It's crazy.
It's
Just watching these huge ships in action is so cool, especially when it's running so smoothly like this.
it's really, really funny seeing Star Citizen as like, oh, this is like the game
Yeah,
being
the game is
played
working.
and working as we've been hoping and waiting for
Yeah.
9 years.
It's that slice, isn't it?
No.
When you just see something like this, you're like, yeah, that's what I want to see, is these huge fucking ships just piling on damage to each other.
Hmm.
Much, the ships that we're used to right now flying around each other with all this going on. It's the Battlestar Galactica kind of battle that you want to see and be in.
I always
do
I
you
always
have another
remember.
clip?
Yeah, I've got it. I'll load it up in a second. I
Mm-hmm.
will always remember in Freelancer loading up in like my little cruddy ship. Is that McDonald's? Is that Japanese McDonald's?
Yes.
What? McDonald's in the UK is completely different than McDonald's here. McDonald's in the States add like some. I think it's like they add something to their breakfast sausage patties that they don't add to it in Canada. And in Canada, the junior chickens have pepper in them, which they don't have it in the States. And what in the world is McDonald's like in Japan?
I've heard it's
Fucking
excellent.
amazing. It's the first
Yeah.
time I've had McDonald's where it's actually different. They cook it to your fucking order. You have to sit there and wait, and it's fresh and it's wonderful. And there's shit on the menu like Shaka Shaka chicken.
What?
I don't have one. A teriyaki burger. Things that you just don't get anywhere else.
Teriyaki burger.
Good.
And they actually
one.
cook it to order.
And like when you get a teriyaki burger or something, they don't scrimp with that sauce. That thing is filled with sauce.
Oh.
It's amazing. And it's not even my favorite fast food place anymore either.
Five Guys?
Loteria is.
I
Loterior.
think Japanese. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, and Mossburger. Mossburger's great as well. But Mossburger, the problem with Mossburger is you order it and you get this tiny little tiny burger, but it's really good. Loteria is wonderful. They don't even have a sauce on their burger, but they don't need it. It's just wonderful.
Nice.
I like
I-
food.
Before 2020 hit, God, one of my favorite things was every year McDonald's did like a tastes of things that we do from other places in the world, and they had like Szechuan burgers and like I loved their like let's see what else we can do with the McDonald's burger. Since the pandemic, they've been struggling to have beef.
Yeah.
So, anyway, where the hell? Right.
Figure out a way to hide my camera now because I don't really want to broadcast myself eating like a fucking pig.
You know what? Give me 1 second.
Do.
I can turn you off. Go ahead, eat.
Can I just turn my camera off?
Yeah, I just. Oh, you could do that too.
Oh.
I did it. Yeah.
Hey.
All right.
There.
Sorry.
Okay.
So-
I
Next
wanted
video.
to say one of the things I really remember from Freelancer was
Mhm.
like you start in this little rinky-dink ship, and very, very early on you see like a giant capital ship, and those you were unless you modded the game years after it came out, you never got to run one of those. But I still remember being in my little rinky-dink ship and just flying around a giant capital ship and being like, I want this. This is what I want to fly. So okay, next video. 1 moment, please. The one thing I will note about Star Citizen combat is it's always seemed very like slingshotty. Like you fly at a thing and slingshot past it and turn and fly and slingshot past it and turn and fly and slingshot past it. I'm really bad at it. That's a lot of enemies.
Isn't that cool? They all just arrived at the same time.
That's quite a number of enemies.
Huge squad of fighters.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't have to fight that way. You can fight however you want.
When I stand still like a turret and just turn to face my enemies, I die.
Yeah, you need to actually move around. Strafing works, though.
I'm really bad at it. I don't have sense of where my feet are. Like, if I'm playing an FPS, I can strafe because the movement's more immediate and I have a sense of, like, stuff around me, whereas Star Citizen is this giant empty universe and I don't have a sense of... I can't ground myself in that space.
Mm-hmm.
But...
You'll get used to it.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, those are our videos for this week. Let's see if anyone has asked any questions.
There's one question that isn't from Shiver.
Only one.
But I'm not good for this one because I've been sick all week, so I haven't really done anything.
Give me a mo.
I think you jumped into the Xenothreat with J-Crow, right?
So summarize
Briefly?
the question is summarize the events in Xenothreat and what's your experience been like. The events, as I understand it, are there's a bunch of I want to say racist, but I think it's speciesist. There's a bunch of speciesist people who don't like that the UEE likes aliens, so they're attacking everyone in Stanton, being that Stanton is the only system we have right now. And
Would it still be racist? Because human race, alien race.
It would work too.
Yeah, I think
You could also just say xenophobic.
Oh yeah, xenophobic. I guess they are Xenothreat. Though why would they take that as their name? It seems awfully weird. Anyway,
They're a threat to Xenos. That's why.
Oh, okay. Anyway, they're attacking. I think the phase 1 is they sent a message saying they were going to attack, which honestly seems really dumb. You know?
Yeah, George Bush is famous for it.
Yeah, I know.
We will attack Iraq.
Yeah. I know. Really interesting strategic. But then, I mean, if any of this is coming from Tony Z, we know Tony Z has some interesting strategic choices to make. Calling out the Nine Tails before. Anyway, stage 2. They've destroyed a whole bunch of Starfarers that were carrying cargo, and there's a Xenothreat Idris with a couple ships that have shown up, and people in the Stanton system have to fight that Idris back and gather cargo from the Starfarers and return it to the UEE base. A bunch of different things you can do there. You can either fight the Idris, or you can go and try and get the cargo from the Starfarers, at which point there is some FPS combat because there are Xenothreat people on those Starfarers, and there's also space combat because as you sit there and grab things from the Starfarers, Xenothreat spaceships will show up, so you have to fight them off, so that's pretty cool. I did a while of that last week, played about 3 hours. It ran really well, except for when I dropped through the elevator on an 890 jump and got stuck because there's no way to get out of an elevator on an 890 jump. I pressed up on the elevator to go up, and I fell through the elevator, fell to the bottom of the elevator shaft, and then I was stuck there because the door doesn't open until the elevator shows up. And I couldn't call the elevator because there's no way to call the elevator from the inside of the shaft, so I was just stuck there until I got rescued. But
Sorry,
Xenothreat,
that's way too funny.
oh no, it was
That's-
great. The actually playing of Xenothreat was pretty cool. Attacking the Idris was honestly outstanding. We showed up in an MSR and I was on a turret for one, and most of my turret didn't load in, but I was still able to turn it on and fire, and like doing runs of firing at the Idris was really cool. And then going to the Starfarers and loading cargo was really actually quite fun, because it was like, oh, yes, Arg Scott, I got shafted. And C. Harris, we both made the same joke. Yes, I got shafted. It was
Amazing.
pleasant. I really enjoyed it. I have a number of friends, and eight or 9 years ago, we're now into the next phase, the third phase, I guess, Elwook, which is, as far as I understand it, Xenothreats show up en masse to attack Stanton. So there's an Idris, couple of, I guess, a couple of other ships. They show up with a lot of ships and attack, and you have to fend them
Donald
off.
Duck?
Yes, Donald Duck shows up. I don't know how they got the rights to Donald Duck, but it's just a giant Donald Duck, and he fires phasers out of his eyes.
Man, he's really moved on from when he was having that piano battle with Daffy Duck.
Yes. Yeah, no, Xenothreat seemed really... I really liked it. I have a group of friends. There's probably, I don't know, 7 people in this group. Years and years and years ago, when Star Citizen was still in a Kickstarter, I persuaded every single one of them to buy into Star Citizen. As one does. And
And
then...
they're no longer your friends.
And then, just to stab me in the back, years later, Star Citizen implemented a referral system, and I had already referred everyone I knew. I'm not still salty about that, of course not. Anyway,
Yeah, you've never done.
I've never
No.
mentioned that. No. None of those friends at this point have any interest in Star Citizen. They've all lost all interest. And I basically don't talk to them about it, because anytime I do, they're pretty
Salty?
they not even salty. They just bitch about it, and I don't really want to hear it. It's like, yeah, it's still in development. What do you want? And they bitch about it and whatever. This is one of the first times in a long time that I went to one of those friends and was like, look, I played Star Citizen this week, and it was really fun. Like, there was shit to do. It worked. It ran. Yes, it's still not 100% there, but what I played this week, when it is ready, this is going to be amazing. And I explained to them everything that went on. They were like, okay, yeah, you know what? That sounds really cool. And that's what it is. Like, it's not flawless by any means, right? There are still problems. There are still glitches.
There are
and
tons of
issues
posts
and-
on Reddit this week of this is the most fun I've ever had in Star Citizen.
Yeah, it is.
Tons of posts like that.
That's it's not done yet, but
No.
Xenothreat is absolutely a look at, like, oh, yeah, it's not done, but this is what it's going to be. And I think this is honestly the first time that we're able to see what it's going to be, really, truly, because for a long time, people have made their own fun in Star Citizen. Streamers have made their own fun in Star Citizen, which is great. A really good sign of a game is when people can make their own fun, but I don't make my own fun. And a lot of people don't make their own fun. They play the fun that's given to them. And this is the first...
And yeah, we all miss Shiver, don't worry, guys. I understand.
This is the first time in a long time that I'm like, oh, yeah, this stuff that you've given me to play, this is fun. Like, it's really fun. If you haven't played Xenothreat, I very strongly recommend you do it. Hop
I think
in.
it is still running. Hopstar mentioned in the YouTube chat that apparently it's timed and there's an hour between runs. I was I was surprised when I logged in and I wasn't given a mission or anything. So I guess I'll have to try again this evening. I haven't really been feeling very well this week, or the prior week, so I haven't done a lot of diving into Star Citizen yet.
Link got his first molar in yesterday.
Ooh, good.
No.
And also Screamy.
Yeah, it's been this has been a really hey Shiver, you're back. Really bad week.
With melon soda.
Melons. Oh
Ooh.
god. I need to try Japanese
Amazing.
McDonald's.
I think you have to go to Japan for that.
I mean, yes. Elwook asks, what song should a beginner learn on guitar when not playing Star Citizen? 4-chord song by the Axis of Awesome?
Nice.
That really depends on your music taste, though, doesn't it?
It does, but also Axis of Awesome 4-chord song. I mean, you should just go watch it. It's the first thing I thought of, but I love it. It's a great song.
Thought I should mention this before I forget. If anybody wants to participate or knows anybody who wants to participate, CIG is starting a new free fly on Monday, and it's gonna be 10 days long.
I will
So,
say that
yeah.
disappoints me. I said it last week. I'm going to say it again this week. CIG have done a number of free flies. They always do really, really well. I really, really think, though, that they should have incorporated the free fly into Xenothreat.
They
Why
don't
not?
want to tear down. They could have risked completely destroying any ability to gather data.
Well,
'Cause
not
if their servers get overloaded and no one can even participate in the event, then it doesn't matter.
like hand in hand.
Oh,
Right?
I thought that's what you meant.
Not tie them together, but I think they should run Xenothreat. Like they should keep Xenothreat running so that it's running when the free fly goes live.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I know it's not going to happen, but
I think they're
that-
worried about whether or not their servers will explode.
I mean, maybe, but other people need to be able to try that,
yeah.
right?
They can always buy Star Citizen and play.
Yeah, but I think that the gameplay of Xenothreat is a lot more likely to make people want to buy Star Citizen than.
Oh yeah,
It's really good. It's really
and I
good.
mean, to be frank, it's not like, or at least from what we understand, it's not like we're going to get Xenothreat and then we're never getting another dynamic event ever
Yes.
again. This is the beginning / testing of a whole slew of dynamic events, which will be available going forward, and will continue to happen, obviously, all throughout the Persist universe when it's
Yeah.
live. And my hope is that we get lots of I'm really looking for variation here. Like, I want something like rogue asteroid or something takes out a space station and you need to help rebuild the space station, like that type of thing, not just combat ones,
yeah,
or even combat ones, but then there's a big there's a big gameplay piece at the end to recover from it, which is involves a lot of traders and miners and such.
I thought it was promising in Xenothreat that it's not just ship,
Not just combat. Yeah.
I think that's a really good sign. I think they know that a lot of people don't like combat. A lot of people are traders. A lot of people are miners. A lot of people are other things, right? So,
Mhm.
I hope that they continue on that vein. Quite frankly,
One of the things that they noted in the Star Citizen Live this week was that they were seeing a lot of people were like, I want to join too, and so they were flying in their prospectors and blasting the capital ships with the mining lasers. on the prospector.
I mean,
Uh,
honestly, why not? Do it.
right? Exactly.
I mean,
I like
it's
it.
just the first event as well. They need to get it out there, see how it goes, see how people respond to it, and then they can fine tune it, and there'll be way more events coming.
Well, they
I
are-
have a
Good
sneaking
authority from
suspicion
someone.
in terms of being able to tune Star Citizen and help its development and figure out, how to go forward. This is probably one of the best events they've held in a long time.
Well, they were saying that like they got a lot of data of the Idris is actually too weak. It's too easy for people to destroy at this point when it shows up, and like it doesn't run away; it just disappears. In the last stage, I think they were saying because of certain server latency, like it doesn't spin up a lot enough. Because on their side, when they were doing testing, they were seeing like it spins up to escape, and it's escaping. Whereas what we experienced as players was it just disappeared.
Oh, I see.
So they're learning a lot more, I think, about what happens via server latency when there's an event going on and when people are all engaged in one activity. And this is good because that's
Huge.
Well, and one of the things we've been wondering about Star Citizen for a long time is like, what's the high end gameplay going to look like? What are like, what are the raids in Star Citizen?
Yep, this is it.
Right? This is it. This is an example of what a raid would be like in Star Citizen, and it's great to see.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing is going to.
They've got a. The next thing that they actually need to try out, you saying raids all the time, put this idea in my head of ground combat.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Needs to be something, a big ground combat event.
Yep.
I think you're probably gonna. My guess, not guaranteed or anything. My guess is that before you see that, you'll see Theaters of War.
Yep.
Yeah.
Theaters of War, patch or two, and then a large ground combat event would be my guess.
They gotta get it nailed down. But everyone wants to actually have a good use for the Tonk.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, what I was going to say, like a normal MMO, raids are what, like once they get server meshing in fully, they're going to have to be able to tune these raids to how many hundreds of...
is very helpful for them, is they can have a planet-wide or system-wide event, so they don't have to concentrate. All those could be anywhere in there. And that's an enormous... By the way, if you...
Picking up stuff from the Starfarer, and you can't even see the Idris fight going on.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So they're using the space, and they've got all of space as space.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's all the questions we had.
Well, we only have 7 minutes left anyway.
It's true.
Oh yeah, the Trooper.
What?
For a
You're
song?
going to learn on guitar.
Well,
Trooper.
yeah, there you go.
That's fairly easy, and it helps you get your. It helps you learn. I don't care. You're just going to all look at me with this look on your face of how did you say that, Shiva? But it helps you get your hand rhythm very well done.
Yep. Crazy Train.
No, that's too hard for a beginner.
Oh, right. I played it on bass. Never mind. Anything by Green Day. Anything pop punk. All you need is for...
But yeah, lots of cool stuff. Shiver, what do you have going on this week?
Tomorrow, for some strange reason, someone's asked me to guest on their stream when they watch wrestling, and I haven't watched wrestling since the Ultimate Warrior came back and then disappeared after some voodoo guy made him throw up, or something like that. And Shawn Michaels put Marty Jannetty through a barbershop window. So that's a long time ago now. Now they let these women wrestle and everything. I'm like,
I know, it's crazy, right?
I'm
yeah, I'm about 20 to 25 years out of date with wrestling as well.
Yeah, yeah. And then Wednesday, probably in your time zone, it's Vampire the Masquerade London by Gaslight,
Nice.
which I really need to write.
Oh, I hope I didn't panic
Uh,
you there.
A little bit. And we've got a Star Trek Adventures game coming up soon as well.
Nice. So I should probably talk about space for a few minutes because as you may have noticed, there's a lot going on. I'm sorry for all of the pings I've been throwing out there on the Relay Discord, but it's been busy. As you may have noticed this week, we had 2 spacecraft successfully arrive in Mars orbit, one from the United Arab Emirates. It's their first ever mission of any kind for the UAE Space Agency. It's a Mars mission, and it worked. They managed to make Mars orbit successfully, which is incredible.
Imagine having the balls to be like, no. Mars first.
Yep. It's crazy. It is so cool.
Also,
then,
imagine having the money to be like, no. Mars first.
Yeah, right? Yeah. They also, keep in mind this is 6 years after their space agency started, and they were able to do Mars. China had an orbiter that just entered orbit as well, about a day later than the UAE's spacecraft. The Chinese orbiter Chinese mission is called Tianwen-1, and it also has a lander and rover, which will land on Mars in probably May or June, is what we're hearing now. Basically, the plan is that they're going to sit in orbit for a little while and take a whole bunch of pictures and plan out where they want to land, and then land later on once they have figured that out.
Do you know why they're doing a round trip with that Tiananmen-1?
It's not Tiananmen-1. It's Tianwen.
Shh, just roll with it.
Go ahead,
Because
Shiver.
if it was a square, they'd have to deny it ever happened.
Oh, God. Hey?
Because that's what China does. If I'm not here next week, I've been kidnapped by the Chinese.
Probably the coolest thing to come out of that mission so far is that if you check in our space channel on our Discord, and the Discord link is down below, there are 2 videos that we got of Tianwen-1 entering orbit of Mars, which is insane. We never get videos from Mars. It's very, very hard to do, mostly just because of bandwidth. You need an enormous amount of bandwidth to pull it off. Very, very cool. So you should go check that out. Very, very cool coming up on February 18th, which is next Thursday. The Mars Perseverance rover arrives at Mars. Sorry, my brain is not working right now. This is the NASA rover, and it also has a helicopter associated with it. The landing is at 1:55 p.m. My time, which is Mountain Time, so it's 3:55 p.m. Eastern Time. They will obviously have tons of media coverage and stuff that day. I did take the afternoon off, so I might cover it. But let me know if you're interested in me covering it directly myself, or if you just want to join me and hang out. That one is very similar to the landing of Curiosity back in 2012, except this time we're going to have, we probably won't see as much like right when it happens, but they have tons of cameras on the descent stage. So afterwards, we're going to get an amazing number and quantity of images, number and quality of images coming back of the landing. So that's going to be really cool. Shiver.
And with that,
no, not quite yet.
Okay.
Space is busy right now. We're probably going to see a Starship launch in the next week or so as well. So, cross fingers. But Probably. So watch out for that. They're always interesting to. Well, they're always very exciting to watch. Sometimes they explode. All right, now you can take us out.
Excellent. All right. And with that, we've reached the end of our show. Join us again in 1 week's time when we will do this again, but also in between now and that time, join us Tuesday evening on the Unnamed Games show, where we will talk about video games that are not Star Citizen, of which there are, in fact, more than one. Yeah. I know.
That's crazy.
Until then, though, thank you all so much for listening and shouting and watching and fingernail trimming and eating hot dogs.
You hit the end button now.
Hit